Hello and welcome to our neck of the woods.
I'm Heather.
And real quick here,
Let's fix the cam.
I get the cam fixed.
We're a little slacking today, guys. All right.
Thought I'd add it. That'll work. Let's see here.
All right.
Hello,
Hey,
Monty.
Monty.
Patriot Prepper.
Whoever else is out there in YouTube land. So we were asked the other day to look up some alternatives to water pills, some natural alternatives, and I have done a little bit of research on that. So I kind of want to wait until folks get in here, and then after I talk about what I talk about, we'll be able to just pop in and have whatever conversation y'all want to have. I know everybody's freaking out about this morning's 3-letter agency approval, but can't freak out about it. You knew it was coming. Just don't comply, don't consent. I mean, and I know that sounds like I'm
free will. They can't
knocking off, whatever. But we always say when we watch the history, we say, why didn't the neighbors say something in Germany? Well, why did they wear the badges? Why did they get on the train? Just don't be them, okay? Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it. They can only control you if you let them. So anyway, I don't know if they're in here, but they can probably go back to the beginning and watch it. So let's cover this. So water pills act. Good evening, artist. Real quick. Artist, we love you. I don't know what happened yesterday for you to think that we don't, but we absolutely adore you, lady. And yes. So I did email you back this morning. All right, so water pills act as a diuretic to help flush excess fluids from your body. Now, the best natural way to flush fluids from your body is going to be, hi conspiracy, is going to be to drink more water. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but water is what helps flush out your system. When your tissues and your organs and all your muscles around, your organs are retaining fluid, chances are, right, that there's some underlying cause. Maybe it is your blood pressure. Maybe it is a heart issue. Maybe it is something else. Maybe it has to do with your body's insulin production. All these things can happen. It can be diet related. So the first thing and the best thing is going to be to increase your water intake when you have water retention, because it will help flush out your system. So there are some natural alternatives. Now, before I get into that, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on YouTube. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not a herbologist. I'm not a homeopathic medicine practitioner. I am none of those things. I am a simple person who knows a little bit about a lot of stuff. I'll give you my best advice, but you have to talk to your primary care physician, because when you use natural supplements and you are on prescribed medication, there can be serious interactions, okay? Keep in mind, all medicine is originally derived. Those chemical compounds that they use in our medication today are originally derived from plants. But if you're crossing the two together, you can have issues, right? And you can have interactions with just using all homeopathic medicines as well. So those things are important, and you need to know them before you try any new. Haha. You know what, Monty? Should I do the fair use, or should I just do the I'm not a doctor one? Let me know, man. What you think? So yeah, always check for drug interactions. If you are on prescription medication for issues, please talk to your primary care physician. Find out what medications may interact with what herbal supplements. Okay. So having said all that, I'm going to dive right into this water pills, and I'm reading this off of the Mayo Clinic. And so this is for information purposes only, fair use notice for education and or entertainment, satire, etc., etc., etc. So this is an article talking about natural diuretics to reduce fluid retention and to help with weight loss. Most people, when you do retain fluid, you gain weight, right? That's just how it is. Hey, Camo. So here's the article, okay? And this is by Catherine Zaratsky, RD and LD. Some herbs and dietary supplements may help you excrete water, as act as a diuretic, and help with sodium and water retention. Examples include dandelion, ginger, parsley, hawthorn, and juniper. But proceed with caution before taking any products that have a diuretic effect. Fluid retention can be caused by a number of medical conditions and some medications. So please talk to your doctor. I already said that. I'm not going to read through the rest of it because this is more geared toward weight loss, which it has been my experience that when you have fluid retention, weight loss is not the main issue. Hey, Betty, Kathy, anybody I didn't say hi to, hello out there. But so having covered that little bit, and that is an article from the Mayo Clinic. Okay. Apple cider vinegar, that tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in a glass of water in the morning, that can help. That can help because what you're doing, you have to understand that the body is mostly water, right? And we're mostly water. Our water, our interstitial fluid, right? The water that's in our body prefers an alkaline state, not an acidic state. And the foods that we eat that are marketed to us, the chemicals that are put in them, all these things work together to create an acidic environment, which makes us susceptible to viruses, bacteria, infections, all kinds of stuff, right? So part of keeping a healthy body and maintaining a healthy body is to stay in a more alkaline state. Now, don't run out and buy you some alkaline water, okay? I don't trust that stuff. You guys have heard me talk about the different things that we use to help, alkalize our body. I'm not going to buy somebody's prepackaged water, okay? I don't drink tap water. I won't drink water at a restaurant or soda pop because it's fountain soda. They use their city water at those restaurants. I won't drink any of that stuff at a restaurant. I want coffee, something that's been brewed, the water's been heated to a certain process. So when I drink something at a restaurant, I usually drink coffee or hot tea because I know the water has at least reached a certain temperature to kill off some of the things in it. Yes, Betty. Betty, do you want to come up and help me out with this? Because I would love to have some of your expertise and some of your just good knowledge. If you'd be willing to try, I'd be willing to, or anybody that has some more information on this. Like I said, I've done some research here, but I'm not a doctor, you guys. I can only, I can tell you what I know works for stuff like that, but like horsetail is phenomenal for water loss. But again, you need to be careful if you're on water pills or you have water retention. in your tissues, you need to get checked out. You need to find out what the underlying issue is, because chances are that water is being retained in your tissues for a reason. And again, it could be heart, it could be diet, it could be blood pressure, it could be that your liver or your kidneys are not flushing correctly. These are all very important things. And so if you don't know the source of one of your prescribed medicines, right, and you're just taking it because the doctor told you to, please call your doctor up and start asking questions, because you won't know until you ask questions. And don't let them get off with a half-ass answer. Get all the information you can, and don't feel like there's a stupid question. And I don't care if they talk down to you, then ask to talk to their nurse practitioner. Nurse practitioners are wealth of information because they are trained almost like a doctor. Okay. And a matter of fact, when I did used to visit a doctor's office, we usually saw the nurse practitioner and not the doctor, and that's just how we did it. And they were always way more informed. Okay. Oh, I never have a plan, Betty. Plans go awry. I try not to make them. I try to just, go day to day in life, and that's how I'm trying to find that out now. Stress test, EKG, etc. tomorrow. Okay, Walter. Um, Best of luck with that, sir. Stress can cause a lot of problems as well. There is healthy stress for the body, and there is bad stress for the body. And most of us know the difference. And if not, I can dig into the clinical explanations for that for you guys. Try not to do that though, because you get too clinical with people, and it's like, I used to tell the doctor, look, if you're not going to explain it to me where I could explain it to my child, or you're not going to explain it to me in layman's terms, and that's not to say that I don't have the knowledge. I was training to be a pharmacy technician years and years ago, so a lot of these things I know because it was something I was interested in and I was going to go into. I'm not a doctor though, and I'm not a nurse, and I'm not any of those things, but I feel I have a pretty good rounded knowledge. I probably couldn't set a bone if it was broken. Doesn't mean I wouldn't give it a shot, right? That's stuff that I want to research and learn more about. And I know how to treat a snake bite or a poisonous spider bite. I know how to do those kind of things. So yeah, Monty, do tell. Yes, Betty. Nurse practitioners are more responsible than the doctors, and that is true enough. And so, I mean, if you want real answers, quite frankly, I would talk to a nurse practitioner at a doctor's office if you have the ability to do so. Because one, usually they're more people friendly. They're more service oriented towards their patients. Okay, they're there because they care about their patients, not because they want a really big paycheck for the rest of their lives or a title or any of that. Most nurse practitioners that I know are really good people that only want to help, right? So, yeah, lemon juice will help. A little bit of lemon juice and lemon water, man. I love lemon water. That'll help alkalize the body too, and clean. Yep. And as Betty's saying, it helps your digestive process. So you're processing your food better, which means that your bowels, your kidneys, your liver, all those toxins and stuff that build up in there, you're going to help flush them out. If you want to flush your liver and to like re-energize your liver, right, to bring it back into a healthy condition, artichokes are actually one of the best foods that to do that naturally. Copy and paste. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Betty. You guys, if you're not paying attention, Betty in chat is giving you knowledge like you never saw. So please watch her, because that lady knows a lot of stuff. And one of these days, we're going to get it figured out where she can come up here and talk with us, because that is my Aunt Betty. I have adopted her, and I love her. So yeah, so like I said, we were asked this the other day about water pills, and there are things out there. Dandelions do act as a really wonderful diuretic, and there are many ways to take dandelions. You can make tea, you can use the root, dry it out, grind it up, and use it like coffee. You can eat the leaves and the flower heads in salads. You can make jelly out of the flower heads. You can make what they call dandelion honey. There are all manner of ways to use the dandelion. And it is a really powerful diuretic. Horsetail, though, I think is, and this is my opinion, horsetail, I think, is probably the safest, like, alternative to water pills. And just because it has, I don't think it has any drug interactions. Again, check with your doctor, your healthcare provider. Check with them first, right? To make sure that whatever you're taking, because there are medications that react with grapefruit, of all things. So you want to be certain that you are checking with them first to make sure that it's not going to interact. And if you don't have a doctor, you're like us, you don't have a doctor, you don't go to the doctor unless you're on your deathbed type deal. Call a pharmacist. A pharmacist is little man's best friend, because there is nothing holding them back from giving you drug interaction information, right? Whether it's, and you guys, I say prescription medication, but over-the-counter medication can have deadly reactions as well. You have to pay attention to that kind of stuff and ask questions. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Call up the pharmacist. They know. They will tell you. Okay? And if they don't know, they've got a nice little database they can look it up on. I promise. So call your local pharmacist, wherever they may be, and you'll get some answers at least. Thank you, Camo. Betty, I would love to hear about your new idea. Yeah, even when you start taking vitamins and minerals, they can cancel each other out. And know that this is where a pharmacist comes into a great deal of help for everyone, is that a pharmacist can tell you, do you need to take this with food, without food, before meal, after meal, with extra water. There are certain pills out there, vitamins and minerals and nutrients. You can take them all day long. If they're free floating in your bloodstream, they are not doing you a bit of good. Okay? So you can take all the vitamin D you want. If it's not getting absorbed into your blood, it is not going to boost your immune system. And people do not understand that there are ways to take certain things. You can buy I think it's D2 or D3 with K2. And the K2 will help the D3 absorb into your bloodstream. So will a hot bath with Epsom salts. Magnesium, and they sell that in tablet form too. But I'm going to tell you something. Magnesium is a supplement that helps your body absorb vitamin D properly. Magnesium is best absorbed through your skin. So put some Epsom salts in a foot bath or in a bathtub and get a nice soak. Your body will thank you for it anyway. But even a foot bath will help immensely. And don't be afraid to ask what it is. How do I take it? Is this going to absorb or free float in my blood? How do I make it absorb so that I'm getting the maximum use out of this? Because other than that, you're just wasting your money and your time, folks. So Hi, Sue, Conquer, Love Pugs. Hi, Love Pugs. Well, we're not talking about better than. We're talking about alternatives too. I have made coffee from dandelion root, and it's not that bad. I've also done it from like gathering acorns and then roasting the acorns and doing like a loose grind and then brewing those. That's not that bad either. Dandelion has it's very earthy. It's very earthy. Chicory is good too. You can get chicory and do the same thing with chicory. You know, make coffee out of chicory root. Oh boy. Hey, you guys, we got a package from Canada. Woohoo! Love you, remote viewer. I know you're out there in YouTube land somewhere.
I figured we, you know, I don't know we got it.
Okay. So, horsetail is actually a pretty good natural homeopathic alternative to water pills because it has little to no medication interactions or side effects that we know of. Now, that doesn't mean they don't exist, and that doesn't mean new information hasn't been found about them. Again, check with your doctor if you're on prescription medication. If you take over-the-counter medication for allergies or headaches or any of that good stuff, check with a pharmacist. They have the information. They should be able to tell you. If they can't, they will look it up for you. If they decide they don't want to, make them. That is your right. You have the right to. It is yes, Canadian. It is. It's from remote. That didn't take long to get here. Really, I thought it was going to take a couple weeks. Whoop whoop. Holy macaroni! They rob you guys up north. Yeah, Betty. Epsom, and that's the thing. Epsom salt is magnesium. So, you know, when you guys understand when you guys understand, you know, how these things work and how they get absorbed best in your body, like vitamin D3, you don't have to have magnesium or the K2 to have it absorbed, but eat it with food because D3 is food soluble, it's fat soluble. So that means it will absorb better being taken in with your food. So, I mean, those are little things. Yeah, Bridget, I have heard that. I don't know how you would use that. Can you give us an example how you might use creosote as a diuretic? Are you just using a small amount, making a tea out of it, or I don't. I'll have to look more into that. I have heard that, but I've never looked further into it because it just didn't sound like something I would mentally be able to wrap my head around. He is an angel. We love him. We call him Brother Bear. He's Brother Bear.
After hearing his exciting story about his Cub Scout or his Scout,
and we called him Brother Bear before we ever knew about his bear story.
From that point forward, though, like a week before we heard about it, we were calling him Brother Bear just because he's just, you know, he's remote.
But if you are having water retention issues, hydrate, right? Hydrate, drink more water because it does help flush things out. And that's the first thing, and that's probably the safest thing to try right off the rip, and be continuous with it, you know.
No lemonade, not coffee.
Oh, Betty, very good point. Please remember your feet have a nerve that connects to every organ in your body, and that's why salt is best through your feet, and why you should just walk a little in the grass in your bare feet to ground your nerves. Yep, and it connects to that is no joke. There have been multiple tests, multiple research, multiple studies on how walking barefoot on the earth can increase your health. So that's no joke, guys. Think it is if you want to, but go take a walk in your bare feet and tell me different. And not over glass or nails or anything like that, guys. Come on. Touch the earth.
Go to the beach.
Touch the earth. Anyway, so that's my segment on that. Anybody want to come up and have a chat? Conversation is open to any, well, almost any subject. You guys know we like to try to keep it clean here. Chanka Piedra. And what does that mean, Canadian? Now I'm curious. Somebody come up and chat with us. Yes. And Camo Caro, the onions, you can slice an onion in half and leave it in the room with a sick person, and it will, nice. It will absorb the stuff in the air. It'll absorb, the germs and whatnot that are free floating in the air, and it'll stink up a room, but onions are absorbers. That's also why they happen to be the #1 food poison culprit. Thank you.
Even though the onion is not bad, it absorbs the odors that are in the air. So if you do have something in your kitchen that was bad, it'll absorb that over a period of time, like overnight. And then you go and slice that onion the next morning.
Hey, Two Feathers.
Not saying you will, but the chances are much higher because the onion absorbs everything in the air.
So if you leave an onion out, don't use it to cook with. All right. And even putting them away, like when we use an onion, we try to use the whole onion one way or another. And if I can't use a whole onion, we'll slice it up
or saran
and dehydrate it.
Yep.
And then I have dried minced onions, and once you dehydrate them, they're not absorbent like that, That's right, Sue. That's awesome. That is awesome. I miss walking in a creek bare feet. I do miss that. I used to do that all the time when I was a kid. We had a creek right by us. Like almost everywhere we lived, I think there was a creek not too far away. So yeah, anybody? Oh, yay! Nadian, you joined us. Hi.
Hi, honey.
How are you?
I'm a little sore. I'm sore.
Yeah. Just for good measure, huh?
Yeah, there has to be a reason though, because he doesn't make mistakes. So.
Nope.
Maybe you're supposed to stay put for a while to be safe.
Oh, well, that really sucks because I would like to be up and try to make it to that barbecue.
I know, love, and we would love to have you. But you know what?
Trying to figure out that
we'll have another one. We'll have another one.
Yeah.
I know.
You got till October. That'll heal up by October. I'm just kidding, honey. We would love to have you, but at the same time, with everything that's going on right now, you seem to me like you're kind of a mover and a shaker, aren't you, lady?
Well,
yeah.
I'm not. This bad business is driving me around several corners because I'm normally up at the crack, outside, either fixing, building, fishing, swimming, or doing wood. That's me. I like to be outside.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Well,
I don't like
maybe
to wear
he's just trying to tell you to sit down.
Well, this is the longest sit down, and it's driving me right up Hooterville.
Oh no! You didn't ask to be taught patience, did you?
I've learned a lot. You would not believe what I have learned in the last 3 years. My kids will tell you, Mom, if this happened before you got sick, you'd have been like blowing a gasket. Why are you so calm? And I said, because I'm not the same person anymore.
Yeah. You know, I've
I
learned that anytime I've asked for help with strength or patience, I am tested in ways that I'm just like, well, I'm failing this one.
yeah. Well, I know. I was telling, I don't know. I was telling someone yesterday. This part of the detox is the hardest part yet. And I knew when I took this path that it was not going to be easy. I knew it was the only way, but I had no freaking clue it was going to be this painful.
Now, do you mind? Is it? You don't have to answer this. I'm just going to ask it. You can decline to answer. But what
Go
were you
ahead.
detoxing from?
Tumors.
Oh, okay.
Wow, girl, you go on the
Yep.
rough road, but I think probably the best one.
Well, even when my mom explained this to me when I was in my 20s, even back then, and her giving me a brief understanding of what she thought it was back then, I said right away, I would never put that shit in my body. Never. And my mom just looked at me and she goes, not to save your life. And I went, Mom, it's poison. How do you expect it to save your life? Well, it's going to kill this. I said,
No.
it's going to kill everything. It doesn't discriminate.
There you go.
This is for
And that-
Liz, real quick.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Am I doing it? There it is.
So
Go ahead, honey.
I just knew, like, before he finished with his options, no was already flying out of my mouth because whatever rolls around in my head comes flying out. And that's what everybody's always scared of because I don't keep my tongue in my pocket. It's too lint filled in there. So whatever's up there comes flying out. And I don't know how to lie because it makes me physically ill. I can't manage that thought process. I don't know how people can think up lies on the go because
And how
I
to
could,
keep track of all that, right?
Yeah,
right.
I don't get it.
How do they do that?
And I've never been able to do it. And that's one of the things my dad instilled in me, but it also pissed him off because he knew that I was going to say what was on my mind and it didn't matter who was there.
Yeah. Well, you know, we had to our daughter kind
You gotta curve it.
of yeah, she started letting stuff fly like mom does, and that's why I just love you because I think we'll get along well.
Oh, well,
But we had to tell her, you know,
I
we had to
definitely,
tell her.
go ahead. Sorry, I'm going to be quiet. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I think see we're a lot alike, you and I.
I missed
the
time delay.
Yeah, it's okay. That has a lot more to do with our signal than anything else, I think. We tell her, you know, yeah, you got to be truthful, right? You got to be honest, but you have to ask yourself these questions. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary?
Probably
And
not.
that's
My brain
kind
doesn't
of,
think that fast either.
oh, I know, but well, because I mean, I want her to speak her truth, and I want her to be honest. And you know, we really, you know, we try to guide her in those ways, but we also want her to know how to have couth, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't have that much of it. Dad's got a lot of it, so I mean, he's her best example when it comes to stuff like that. I'm learning how to try to hold my tongue more.
Hi, Liz.
No, we lost her.
Come back, come back. Oh, I was gonna put the link again.
All right, there's a link again. There she
Yay!
is.
I think Travis was swinging that one-legged butt kicking contest again.
Oh no.
Whenever he gets kicking that butt thing, I usually end up going flying somewhere.
Well, I don't see him here just yet, and I promise
No.
we didn't.
No. It's probably just, it's a karma thing with Travis. If he's having issues, it's probably
Oh
that
yeah,
he.
you're the first one that drops off. That was happening to us there for a while too. Or we'd get up there and we'd have a good signal, and then he'd bring us in the show, and our signal would drop out completely.
I think it had something to do with whatever was going on with the invisible chat monster, because I didn't fully understand how everybody was getting blocked, including him, and getting himself kicked out of his own chat.
Yep.
But I know it was pretty complicated, and it's a tech thing that I don't understand, but I'm glad somebody helped him figure it out.
I think it had to do with accidentally flipping his phone around with his fingers on it.
Well, see too, because he uses his phone, he doesn't have
I'm just
access
picking on you, Travis, if you're listening.
He doesn't
I know,
have
I'm just
access.
picking on you.
He doesn't have access to the full dashboard, I guess, from the phone.
Yeah.
Right.
It's different on the IS.
Yeah, it's really different on those little apps.
And there's more settings on the PC. And I think he couldn't get into those settings because he was on his phone, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think so too. I just picking on him though, in case he's listening.
Travis is driving.
Hey,
oh.
Hey, did you see
He's
that
always
brisket
driving.
he was doing? Did you see that
Oh,
brisket
God,
he
looks
did
so
yesterday?
good.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mouth watering. I was just like, because I love brisket.
We were talking about it last night. By the time we were done talking about it, everybody was starving. Mike had to go make a sandwich.
I know. I was there. I was there.
We were picking on him too.
We had some
going
good
on with the barbecue.
Yeah, we had some good food listed off. That'd be quite the get together if we had all that going.
Well, that's why we're having
That's
a potluck, so everybody brings stuff, and everybody will have something there they like to eat. And we're gonna roast a hog and do some other stuff, and it's gonna be good.
Thank you, Monty.
It's gonna be good.
I don't know if you guys remember, but do you remember back in July when our is there an echo?
Not much.
No. Are you hearing yourself?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So back in July, we had a big power outage here, and it went down for about 7 hours. And we had what we consider our future, our hatching eggs, in an incubator. And this was our second round. The first one, we got a rather unreputable breeder and lost a lot of money with unfertilized eggs and bad attitude. So this was our future, and it was right on the lockdown day when the power went out.
Oh no.
And I was having 50 fits, because you guys know those incubators are not supposed to drop below 99 degrees.
Right.
Especially on lockdown day. So when the power went out, everybody was texting me, and they're like, and I said, just pray that they make it, because I don't know how long the power is going to be out. Well, we ran the incubator outside, set it in the sun, protected it from the wind until about, I'd say maybe 5:30 in the afternoon, when it went around the side of the house. And then the temperature dropped, and I was like, oh no. And so it came back on after 7.5 hours. We ran the incubator back in. Guess what temperature it was?
What?
79.
Oh,
really?
That's not bad though. I mean,
it dropped 20 degrees, and it's not supposed to go below 99.
Yeah.
So
wow.
So we were praying all night that they were going to be okay. And especially after losing 24 in the previous batch.
Right.
Oh, God, yeah, 24. That's quite a bit.
we can't lose these because these are our future. These are our eggs and our meat, and they're the starting of our stock.
Yeah.
So we went to sleep. We just kept praying that everything was going to be okay. And we didn't watch it like, because we knew it was lockdown day was when the power happened. So the day after, they started hatching early, and we didn't get them all, but we had 5 make it. And I said, there's somebody looking after these guys, because that temperature went way below where it was supposed to, and 5 of them still made it. So these are
Awesome.
these are the warriors. This is the tip of the spear that's going to grow the rest of the herd. This is our future. And so 5 of them, yeah,
Are they
5 of them made
brooders?
it. They're Bielfelders. Have you heard of those?
Yeah.
Really good temperament, great with people. They love attention. They're not nasty. Even the roosters are good. Great meat birds, and they give beautiful big large brown eggs.
I'm curious about this because I know that there are some chickens out there that are still natural brooders that will brood their own, incubate their own eggs.
Yeah, these guys aren't
But that
broody.
also make good meat chickens. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're
but apparently this breed is not broody. He's like the fellow that I got in contact with. He was super, and I wish I'd have met him first, because when I told him what happened with the first set, he goes, "Are they in Winnipeg?" And I went, "Well, yeah, they're out in that area." He goes, "Manitoba?" And I went, "Yep." He goes, "I got 4 people that won't deal with them." And I went, "What?" He goes, "Yep, pretty much the same as what they said you said happened. They didn't care. They weren't going to guarantee anything, even though you could prove that they weren't fertilized. No money in their pocket. That's all they care about." I said, "Well, the problem is you can have a nice website and do that, but word of mouth is more powerful. And if you keep doing that to customers, that word of mouth is going to wipe out anything that pretty website's doing for you."
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll eventually spread.
Yeah, because I'm a firm believer in, if I believe in your product or your service, I'm going to tell the world.
Yeah. And
But
if I don't, likewise.
if I don't, I'm going to scream it to every corner of the world, because that's just who I am.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
going to rip people off, I'm going to make sure everybody knows about it.
Your landlord. Well,
Okay, let's not talk
that's
about my
cute, love.
landlord.
No, I love Pug. She wanted some chickens, but was told no. Her landlord said no. That was cute. Yeah, they just don't understand, do they?
No, but I noticed that like we had gotten some mixed chicks I don't know, a while back. And they were supposed to be brooders. They wouldn't brood. And it was like, I kept telling the girls, leave the eggs down there. I want to see if they start trying to hatch them, because we had a rooster. So I knew that some of them had to have been fertilized, and I thought,
Yeah,
man, if we could just get, because so many chickens now won't brood their own eggs, that I fear
yeah,
that we're almost to that point where we're going to be beyond it and having to grow our own chickens from those eggs,
yeah. Well, we're just trying to, they're at 3 weeks now, so they're about a week away from going out to the coop. So we're just figuring, I was just telling my girls, we're gonna have to section it off and divide it into 2, because we have 3 roosters and 2 hens.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I want to put a section at the end of the coop with a separate door, because it's easy to divide the run. We can just run a cattle panel down the center up to the top, and keep all but one of the roosters separate, because Otherwise, he'll ruin those 2 hens.
Yeah.
If you leave all 3
Yeah.
of them together, they'll be done. So
Yeah.
what we're going to do is we're going to leave 1 rooster for now with the 2 hens. And then when they start laying, we're going to hatch some more. And then we'll switch the roosters out to a different rooster with the same hens. And then we'll hatch some of those. And then we'll switch the other rooster. That way we'll have 3 bloodlines and still grow it.
Nice.
Grow the herd, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great game plan. And you know what? Plant some elderberry bushes around your chicken coop so that the chickens can freely eat the elderberry whenever they want. And you leave those bushes just for your chickens. It'll keep them healthy.
Yeah, they love the berries.
They love them, and they're so healthy. You know, they're healthy for us and for the chickens. Ooh. Oh, Betty, that sounds like a whole show. I would love to do that. There you are.
I think I better give up. This technology stuff is killing me today.
Don't give up. Never give up. You're a fighter.
Well,
I know you are.
You gotta see these beautiful little baby chicks. The first one that came out was the girl with the best colors. And I named her Little Miss Thing and a box of chocolates. And she's so friendly. My daughter sits and feeds her scrambled eggs out of her hand.
Wow. That's cool. Yeah, that's the other thing. You can use you can take the shells, the egg shells, and boil them or bake them.
Yep.
And then grind them back up and put them back in their feed as calcium because they need that calcium, you know.
Yeah. Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put one of the, like the 5-gallon pails. We're gonna put that in the kitchen and put all the scrap foods and stuff in there, plus any of the scrap from our garden, like when you pull up the vegetables and stuff, the tops off of there.
Compost it.
Yeah, and we're just gonna throw it in and let them compost it, and then the grocery store here said that they would give us any of the produce that they're throwing out.
Oh,
so excellent! That's excellent.
Cool.
So we can throw that in there, and they can compost it, and then next spring we're gonna have a beautiful pile of compost for that produce again.
Yep. Yeah. See, that's what we were doing. That we did that last year or the year before, and we had a restaurant that was giving us all their vegetable scraps.
All of them, yeah.
And we throw it down in the chicken coop, and we're just letting them. And like you said, all you got to do is section off part of the run, and use that, and they'll compost all of it, and it feeds them as well because it brings the bugs in for them. So
and it's healthier for them.
Yep.
It gives them better production in their meat and their eggs. Plus, you're not spending as much on feed. And then, if you ferment your feed, then they get even more nutrients out of it, and they eat less because they're getting more nutrients out of the fermented feed.
That is awesome. And how are you doing your ferment for their feed? I'm curious about that.
I take a 1-gallon glass jar, and I put 1/3 of the chicken feed in it, and then I fill the other 2/3 water and just keep stirring it every day, and then use a strainer after 48 hours to strain some out into a dish for them.
Nice.
And when I give them that, they eat less of the dry food.
Nice. That's really helpful.
And then when we put in a little dust bath for them, like in a 9x13 tray, just until they're old enough to get one outside. And we put in 2 tablespoons of diatomaceous earth in there to help keep them free of any bugs.
Yeah, and you can throw that right into the area where you have their laying boxes.
Yeah,
and they'll dirt bath in it.
Yeah.
They'll dirt bath in it. If you put it like in an area on the floor, they'll dirt bath in it. and it
Yeah.
does not affect chickens like it does other pets, because like in other pets, like in dogs and cats and whatnot, if it gets in their lungs, it can kill them, right? The dry. But with chickens and like chinchillas love diatomaceous earth. They're best too.
Well, see, I give it to my dogs and my cats, but I mix in a teaspoon in their biscuits, and then I mix in a teaspoon of coconut oil as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the dry. If the dry gets in their lungs, and people, not everybody understands that. And yes, you can use it on cats, but if you have a cat that is diabetic, whether you know it or not, it can cause immediate and severe dehydration, and you may or may not lose that cat. Just so people know.
you got to make sure they have ample water at their disposal.
Yes, but it's a great dewormer.
It is, and it's great if you take like the thing we use for sifting flour, the sifter for flour.
Yeah.
If you put some in there and brush their coat the opposite way and sprinkle it on their coat, not only does it kill ticks, fleas, and anything else that crawls on them, they're not going to jump off and go anywhere because they die right as soon as they touch it.
So that's how you're doing the application for their coat? See, I was wondering about that because I know about it getting in their lungs dry. So just brush their coat backwards and apply it that way. I was going to put it in some water and do it like a spray because it'll still work, just not probably as effectively. I'll try that. Thank you.
It's just like as long as you pull their coat forward and don't sprinkle it heavy because it's gonna mix in on their skin, and then anything that crawls on the skin and touches it, it's just gonna cut them open, then they die.
Yeah.
But it's not harmful to the animal. The animal can eat it, and it gets rid of parasites inside too.
Right. And we can actually take diatomaceous earth, food grade diatomaceous earth, in a cup of water. Same thing. And it'll help us too, but you have to increase your water intake when you do that. That's for everybody out there listening that doesn't know.
And that was something else I was going to add, but I've got so many things going right now, and I'm having, as much as I'm drinking, I'm still dehydrated. So I wouldn't want to add that in at this point because that would make things very bad.
And I'll ask Betty, but I think I'll just ask Betty first. Betty, if she adds like a little bit of pink Himalayan salt or a little bit of like Celtic sea salt or something that's really high in minerals to her water, just like a pinch per glass, would that help her with the dehydration? Because I'll bet you Betty knows. And she actually does have like medical experiences and things. So that's why I'm asking her. If anybody else out there knows, by all means.
I know that would be something good for me to add in, but not right at this time. So I know myself that would make things much worse. So
what right now, are you using to detox?
Well, let me see. Day one, I came home and I hit the internet. And then I called my girlfriend at the wellness store and I said, I'll be in to see you tomorrow. We have to figure out a plan. And day two, I started with Shunka Piedra, vitamin D3, MM, and then the letter B4T. You, Mr. Humble, maybe? You know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I added that. And let me see, what else did I add? I added what's it called? Oh, serapeptase I added. Moducare I added. And then at the end of the first week, I added oil. But I was kind of at a disadvantage because there weren't a lot of people forthcoming with their information at that time. And I ended up only doing like 2 drops in a capsule because I couldn't handle what came afterwards. So I would just take the one. But they didn't tell me your body will get used to it. You have to increase it. So for the first year, I was at a disadvantage with that, put myself way behind the 8 ball. But I figured it out and steadily increased it to where I got to where I am now. I make my own, fill my own capsules. And then and vitamin C, and then I recently increased my vitamin C to 10,000 milligrams a day. And I added zinc not long ago. But I think what really kicked the crap out of me in the last 2 weeks, now that I've sat and thought about it overnight, is I added DMSO. And I think that is what got me. I mean, I've known all the way along there was going to be stages of stuff that was coming out from inside. I knew what caused this. I knew where the blockages were. And we knew that there had to be an enormous amount literally cemented on my intestines, because at one point my IBS was so bad my bowels only worked once every 7 weeks, but I still ate 3 meals a day. So where did all of that go for 3 years? And I figured it out in my research where it all went. And I figured out that's what we got to get out. Well, you wouldn't believe the things that I've got rid of in the last 2.5 years, Heather.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
lumps that I've had my entire life since I was a teenager. Ganglions that were on my wrist that was the size of golf balls.
Wow.
Gone. And
Nice.
the green and gray tone that my skin used to have, which was like a greenish gray. And that's the way it was for the last probably 3 years before I was diagnosed. And that
So your body
obviously
was getting toxic.
Yeah. And I was under a lot of stress because I'd fought a very nasty domestic violence divorce. And I was looking after my father, who had 3rd stage Alzheimer's. And I was raising 3 kids by myself while I was doing it. And it just all came to a head. I think it was all of that stress, because unfortunately, the type of person I am, I'm very emotional and very spiritual and very attached to things. I can watch the same movie 10 times and I know what's coming, but when it gets to that
And you
certain
still
part,
cry?
it rips me apart. Even though I know it's coming. So, yeah. I just figure that because of that emotion, stress affects me in a very bad way. And with all of that stuff came to a head. Well, I'll tell you, from the time my 3rd miracle was born, and those miracles are another part of that story, I tried everything to lose that last bit of weight that I gained with her. And no matter what I tried, and 15 out of 20 of them were natural, I never lost a pound, but I had no problem gaining. From the day I started researching and treating the cause of this, day 2 after my diagnosis, by day 4, I already started losing weight.
Wow.
Without even trying. I wasn't concentrating on weight. I was trying to treat the cause, not the symptom.
Yeah. And
And
and that's a really good point, Canadian, because I talk about that all the time. A lot of the reason I don't go to the doctor anymore is because they want to treat the symptoms. They're all about treating the symptoms, but never the cause.
well,
And
yeah, because
I'm real down to the roots kind of person. I want to know what the cause is. I want to know what the root of the issue is, so we fix the root, and everything else falls back into line.
but you see, the medical profession, and as my father so firmly stated, probably 100 million times before he passed, the medical practice is exactly that. It is the
Yeah.
practice of medicine. He said even back then, they are not interested in healing or curing anybody that is not profitable.
Hmm.
They will not
Yeah, and
profit
that's
by
true.
healing people.
And that's why I started the show out with talking about, when you call a doctor's office, the nurse practitioner is going to be the best one to talk to, because they're not invested in a paycheck or a title. They're invested in helping people. And,
Yeah,
they're there for the right reasons, most of them. And Betty made a good point about that. Talk to a nurse practitioner that's been doing it for a lot of years. Some of the newer ones are still too shy to put out there, but most of them have exactly the same, if not more, information than the doctor, and they're more caring for the patient.
yeah.
So
100%.
um,
Call the doctor's office. That's who you're talking to, not
just
the doctor.
yeah, and
Well,
like I said,
Heather,
when you're dealing with stuff like that, I'm going to put you in touch with Betty. Betty actually has the medical and the natural both experience. Um, I'm
I've
going to
been
put you
doing
in touch with her if that's okay. And
I would love that
because she,
because I've been doing all of this by the skin of my ass, just feeling my way through it to see, well, maybe
well,
this will work,
I
maybe
I
that doesn't
know
work.
I know in my heart she can help you, and I know that she will. She's really she's wonderful. You're going to love her. Um,
That would be amazing.
yeah, I'm going to give you a call anyway, Brenda, right after the show
Yeah,
here. Um, and then I'll give you her information, and you can reach out to her.
that would
She's
be great.
wonderful to talk to, and she can answer your questions. I mean, she's got a wealth of information.
So
And she's
so
just as lovely to talk to. Love her.
I just love you guys, and I'm trying so hard to get my ass out of this bed so I can come to that barbecue.
And we'd love to have you. And look, if you can get here, I'll make you a nice cozy spot where you can sit right by the fire,
Oh,
and we'll come to you.
I'll tell you what, my kids have never been to the States because shit has been happening in their lives pretty much since the second they were born. And I am the first one to admit, I think they got a raw deal, but so many of the parents of other kids said your kids have had the most amazing upbringing that you could spend that amount of time with them every summer. And I went, well, that's just what we did. I just, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I got to share with Mike. I'm going to send a picture of my little one because fishing for us in the summer, it was like school's out from 10 o'clock in the morning. We were loading the car. We got a cooler sandwiches. We got drinks in the back. All the fishing gear is loaded. Make sure the net's in there. Got my chair. Okay, now let's get in the car. And the first nice looking spot that rings that bell near the water is where we stop and we start fishing. And I fish and they swim. And as long as
Right
there's
on.
no lightning, we're there until dark.
Yep.
Wait. Last pass. It's almost one more catch. So I got this picture I got to show Mike of my youngest one. And we stopped at this gorgeous dock and we're all fishing. And she says, Mommy, what are those? those are gar pike, baby. She goes, I want to catch one. And I went, well, they're not. And these two guys at the other end of the dock, they started going off how long they've been trying to catch a gar pike. And you get the. And while this guy is running his mouth, doesn't my baby hook that sucker and pull it right up onto the dock in her bare feet?
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's as big as her. It's as big as her. And
That is awesome.
I said to Mike, you're going to love this picture, man. She caught it in 5 minutes while these guys were running their mouth, and it's as big as her. And she's standing there holding it in her bare feet.
Right on. Right on. Yep. That's awesome. And yeah, I mean.
So they would go back to school, and the kids would say, what'd you do for the summer? And the guy would say, well, we went to Wonderland for a day. And we went to such and such zoo for a day. And we went to such and such Bible camp for a week. And the rest of the time we were, at someone's house looking after us. And then they'd say to my kids, why, what did you do? Oh, we were fishing and swimming. Well, yeah, but what else did you do? Oh, no, that's what we did all summer. What? How can you fish and swim? Oh, no, every day. Unless there was lightning, we were out there. He says, we got so many pictures of it. And the kids would say, who took you doing that all summer? And they'd go, my mom.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
They need it. That's the thing.
Yep. Yeah,
And
and if you can get here and you want to bring the kids, that's fine, honey. You come on down. We'll feed you and entertain you.
Well, that's what I'm working on. And so I knew all the way. Go ahead. I'm trying to read that.
So yeah, we got a hotel right in the main town. I mean, we're gonna be putting all this stuff together here soon, so everybody knows what's available.
We'll have some camping spots right here at the homestead too.
Heather, read to me what Betty said. I can't read it. I'm on my phone.
Yeah, listen, doctors are not allowed by law to buy stocks in medicine, but they put the stocks in a wife or a child's name. If a doctor gives every client a prescription of some medicine he or she owns stock in, and that is true, and I have known that for many, many years, and that's how that system works. It is called a healthcare system, just like a judicial system. All these systems that we have are simply that systems.
That's exactly right. They're getting it more and more. They got to the point where everybody was almost 0.75% reliant on them, and you got to get away from it.
I say, take your system and shove it. I don't want it.
No more.
I don't need it.
Don't need it here anymore.
Okay, so
back to taking care of ourselves.
You want to hear a 180? Listen to this. So when I moved back to my hometown where I was born, my doctor from London referred me to this doctor back home, and she was great. She totally understood from the previous doctor that my body does not react well to chemical pharmaceuticals. It just doesn't. I have like 20 immunities to antibiotics. I am allergic to sulfa, allergic to penicillin, and I almost died from two surgeries. And I almost died from 2 surgical infections, like that blew up within 24 hours of the surgery. So when I went to this new doctor, she was great. She totally got it. She was 100% into helping me find whatever I could natural because of the reactions my body had. She was great. So then when we moved back down this way towards where my parents were, because of my health, we kept her, even though it was 2 hours away, because there were no doctors here taking patients and there were 5 getting ready to retire. So we kept her. And when my 3 miracles came along, I would drive all the way back there for my appointments. Everything was going great. Fast forward to when I was diagnosed, okay, which was November 1st, 2018. She says to me, well, if you're not going to do what we recommend for the treatment, then there's nothing else we can do for you. I said, but they said that I would get a caseworker to help me with, setting up my disability and yada, yada, yada. Well, if you're not interested in following our procedures, then there's nothing else we can do. And they basically slammed the door in my face.
That's how they do. That's how they do. If you're not interested in their protocol.
Yeah. So to this day, I still haven't got my disability. Still haven't. But doesn't she start when all of the vacations start going out? She starts calling me. She starts emailing me. She starts texting me. And she's doing this 3 times a week, saying that I should get the Zen and that I needed to do it right away. And I told her she needed to stick it up her orifice. And she kept calling.
Look, I don't care if somebody comes out and proves to me that they're all placebo. I am still not taking it. It is principle at this point, and I have the right to tell you no. Period.
Why the frick would anybody put anything, even a placebo, in when your body has a 99.98% mortality survival from this cold?
Exactly.
Okay, here's your warning. I've been down that rabbit hole. I know a whole bunch about it, and I know that the research on every individual ingredient, and I'm saying that lightly, every ingredient has been tested for other purposes since the early 2000s. Some of them, others started around 2010 and more. I mean, I can go down that sheep hole, that rabbit hole. I just read the word sheep and said sheep hole. That's funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had the patents on the vacations starting back in 2002.
There is a patent. There is a patent for the VIRUS.
Yes, there is.
For it. That right there should tell you it is not man-made. You cannot patent natural things.
No. And if you allow it to put it in your body,
right? These genetic altering substances.
Yep.
And somebody mentioned it last night. It may have been you, hon. I don't remember who mentioned it, but somebody had mentioned about there was paperwork done up. There was a case heard in The Hague in the World Court about owning humans. And if they're genetically altered, they are no longer natural beings of God. They're no longer natural creation. And they are
also owned.
Yes, they can be owned. Now,
if you put
that doesn't tell you guys something, I want to jump down that rabbit hole with you, but
you and I are right there, sister.
Because we both know, right? We know where that goes.
20 years ago, I started hounding my aunt, okay? Because she goes through 4 cases of Diet Coke a week.
Oh my God, that stuff is terrible for you. On
Do
so many
you?
levels.
I don't care what the product is. If it's Dr. Pepper, if it's Coke, it doesn't matter. If it says diet, it has.
You don't want it.
Ask your
or sugar free.
Or sugar free.
And they've changed the name of aspartame because it was getting bad publicity.
Monty.
So you have to find out what the new name is, but it's still in there.
The new name is.
And I
Conquer Your
told her,
Future. I should go through my research and give you a link, but I have it.
I showed
The
her
case.
exactly
No, but we will find
what
out that out.
I told her exactly what aspartame was. It is the fecal byproduct from E. coli. Fact.
Yes.
It's a poison. And it
Yes.
affects so much of your body. And I started this with her 20 years ago. And she said, "You're a nut bar. You're crazy." I said, "There's the facts right there on paper."
You know what oleo is, right?
They wouldn't put it in our food if it was dangerous. This is how blind they are at believing in the system.
You know,
and
that's when I come across people that think that way, I refer them back to the 80s, right? When eggs were good, they were the best source of protein. And then right before the 90s, oh, eggs are bad. They're so terrible and high in cholesterol. And then mid 90s, it was eggs are so good, right? And I just refer them back to that because anybody our age usually remembers the big push for certain things, right?
Yeah.
Like
and so and these ones that are just that delusional, okay, the ones that are willing to just drink 4 cases of this poison, that are willing to sit there and look me in the face, even though I'm showing them stuff on paper, and say, they wouldn't put it in our food if it wasn't safe. Don't be ridiculous. Okay? 95% of the people that sound just like that are the best educated, supposedly. They've got all the degrees, they got the university programming.
Got all the books, smarts, and no life experience.
And this family that I've been hounding for 20 years, one of them is a registered senior nurse with degrees coming out of her yin yang.
This isn't World Forum.
And her husband is a 30-year constable on the police force. And he's high up in the Masonic Lodge.
Oh, there you go.
Ding ding.
Ding ding. There's your ding ding. Yep.
He's the bad part, and she's delusional. She's just following.
Hey, Raina made chocolate, you guys.
Yum, chocolate. I like chocolate, Raina.
Can you see the chocolate? It's a little cat with a heart.
Oh, is it milk chocolate?
Yeah. Got a little cupcake.
Yeah, milk chocolate and white chocolate.
Oh,
yeah.
Colored white chocolate.
And also regular chocolate.
You make mommy a turtle?
Milk chocolate.
No.
They're beautiful, Raina. They're beautiful.
You made me a whale. Oh.
They almost look like you shouldn't eat them, Mommy.
Oh, Mom's gonna eat them.
Oh.
I said they almost look.
Picture,
almost.
And then I'll remember the flavor.
They almost look like they shouldn't.
Here, go ahead and put them in the fridge, baby, so they don't melt.
Oh, the pink was flavored.
Yeah, it's a strawberry flavor. Strawberry
flavor.
Oh yeah. No,
yeah, right? Tactical Tonto, that stuff is wicked. And for 20 years I've been trying to tell, and these are the best educated people in the world. That makes me think that maybe I might not have the degrees, but I think I have the brains, and they lost theirs.
Everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Rain. Those chocolates are beautiful. They look so delicious.
And she brought me these too.
Oh, yummy. Tomato. Toasted tomato and cheese sandwich. My fave.
Ain't a stinker.
I could eat an entire loaf of toasted tomato and mayo sandwiches.
Oh yeah.
I would eat a whole tomato straight out of the garden
Me too.
without.
We're lucky
I
they
could
got
sit
home.
and I can sit and eat them all day.
2 made it home.
We don't know how many she got.
2 made it home.
Well, they're
But we don't
nice
mind.
ones. They're nice
yeah.
ones. They look
Yeah,
nice.
we're just
They look
eating.
nice sliced up on the plate with supper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, last night I sat here with a knife and ate it campground style, and I just sat here with a knife and salted
Hi,
the top of it,
Robert,
cut me
my
off a
brother.
layer, and
Just saying hello, everybody in chat.
yeah.
I'm not ignoring you.
No, sorry
Hello,
guys.
hello,
Farmer's
everybody.
son, hi. Everybody, we've been trying to say hi to keep up with you
Ronan.
guys.
Everybody. Hello, hello, Two Feathers. And Liz, you're going great.
I love Liz.
Robert.
I know you don't sleep. I'm going to set up a
Yeah,
hammock for you, though, so you
yeah.
at least can rest if you get here.
Beefsteak tomatoes. Yes. Ooh, they make awesome sandwiches.
Right.
I can sit there and eat a whole one of them, too. That's like a whole meal for me. Just like, what are you having for dinner? I'm going to have tomato steaks.
Oh, you know what? We're doing it again. Same thing we did last night, because now I want one of those tomato sandwiches.
I thought about sneaking in, even though we're having the hog and everything, I still thought about sneaking in a few campfire pizzas.
Yeah, my husband makes the best campfire pizzas. Oh, my Lord.
Ooh, yummy.
We may just double it up and make a Raina's birthday party while we're at it, because her birthday's at the end of September.
Well, you know what I got not long.
Ah, we lost her! Come back! Come back!
Tomato sandwiches are so yummy.
Internet is just eating
I
her
love
up
some-
today.
I love
tell
tomato
you
and
what.
onion sandwiches too.
Anybody else that wants to jump up? More than welcome.
Yeah, come on up. Join the conversation.
Are you coming to the cookout too?
I'm having a
Try.
technological day.
Yeah, the internet keeps swallowing you into the black hole.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
do
she
you
said
know what
she's
I
gonna
got?
swim across because she's in Canada.
Yeah.
She's gonna
She
swim
got to
across,
swim across.
and so she's training right now for swimming across the lakes, so she can come to the barbecue.
Cool.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But she does live across the lakes in Canada.
Yep.
Yeah, you're our time zone, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Eastern.
I'm if you look
You and Gigi, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, Gigi's down by Toronto.
Toronto, right? Yeah.
She's about 4 hours from me.
Well, that's not too bad then.
I'm about an hour and 15 minutes to the toll booth at the bridge in Windsor.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad used to take my brother and I up to Cranberry Lake, if you know where Cranberry Lake is.
No, where's it near? Do you know?
By the Thousand Islands. I do know that much.
Okay. Yep, I know that.
You come
Lots of
across
big
and we
horse
went
flies.
to the east a little bit. Yeah. Carry you away, horseflies.
Yes, we grow them large up
it's
here.
off to the east a little bit. I loved going. It was great.
Well, that's
Where
where
I'm sorry to hear that, Tonto.
that's where we want to end up, is up north, because I was telling this to Bart the other night. About the same time, not long after my dad passed away, I was dealing with my landlord, who's not a very nice person, and he needs some character adjustments.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I've been living here for 9 years, and because of the way the system is set up, because of the divorce, my credit was screwed. So I couldn't get a mortgage for half the price of what I'm paying in rent. But I can pay someone else's mortgage in rent. But they won't give you the mortgage for even half of that amount.
Oh my Lord.
right? And that's the way the system's set up. It's set up against you.
To be stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, so that you're constantly in
You get
debt.
kicked every time you're down.
Yeah. So anyways,
Yeah,
I was thinking this all through and I started doing the calculations of how much I pay to this SOB's mortgage. And when I found out that it was 124,000 in 9 years, I just about puked. And I said, "You know what? I'm going to take that little bit of money that my dad left and I'm going to get a piece of land at the only place that I know as home, but have never lived there, never grew up there, wasn't born there, but it's the only place in Ontario that when I first went there, the thought of leaving broke my heart. And I sat and cried for an entire day, even though I'd never lived there. I just couldn't pull myself away from there. It felt like home.
Okay.
So I
there are
said,
certain places that you'll feel that.
Yep.
yep.
That's
And
where
I
you need to
said,
be.
so that's where I'm going to get my piece of land and we're going to go back up there and we're going to live self-sufficient and we're going to start helping the community up there that's been left behind. And we're going to teach them how to be self-sufficient as well.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. And that's how you do it.
Start
And
here,
then,
get all your
and then,
information.
yeah, and then Koof came flying in.
Well, of
And
course,
I was ready to pull the trigger. We had the guy ready to do the drone survey on the property and everything. He was ready to go. And I said, we're going to have to wait and see what's going on because I'm getting a bad feeling about this. And he said, okay, no problem. So I started paying attention to what was going on at Christmas time right before. And the feeling kept getting worse. And he said, I got to sell the property. Someone else is asking. I said, you're going to have to sell it because the feeling isn't gone. Something, I can't do it right now. And in the end, come March, turned out I needed to use that money to make sure that my family was going to get through this. So then my youngest one, who's all gung-ho to go up north, she says, well, now what are we going to do? I said, we're going to do the same thing we were doing before. She goes, but the money's gone. I said, it doesn't matter. She goes,
it doesn't matter.
She goes, what do you mean it doesn't matter? I said, I know in my heart that this is what I'm supposed to do. And as long as I keep moving forward towards it, whatever I need is going to come my way.
Exactly. That's exactly. I was just going to say that. I was going to say it doesn't matter which way you look at it. Don't give up on it. Keep going for that. Even though that little bit of nest was there, it doesn't mean it still isn't going to happen.
And that's why
you might have to take a different direction to get there. But
right. And that's why
goal.
And that's why when these 5 chicks hatched, I knew that it was going to be okay.
Right on. Yeah.
And they're like, how can you think like that? I said, because these eggs were our future. And I said, against all odds, against everything that made sense, 5 still came through. Right. And I said, 5 is a very powerful number.
Yeah.
And this is the start. And the fact that they survived means that what I see is there and I just have to keep going towards it.
All right. Hey, real quick before, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but before I forget again, Betty had mentioned the stevia plants. I didn't even know you had them, but if you guys are interested in them, by all means, email us. And, you know, we're getting the seed and plant co-op thing going, and we want to make that free to everybody. So whoever can participate by adding their own, great. And if you can't, but you still want to get started and be part of this, then you can contribute in the future. And we're just going to be exchanging seeds and plant cuttings and sharing the love. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, reach out to us in our email, and Betty, I'll reach out to you and we'll talk about it because I think I missed some stuff. But I'm sorry, you guys. We have pressure systems coming through where we're at right now, and I'm developing a headache, and I'm trying to read, but I'm having a hard time with it. Even with the glasses on, my eyes are really hurting. So there you go. Go ahead, Canadian.
Oh no, I was done.
Okay. And you know, that's important though, that what you said is really important in the fact that, you know, you knew, you know, your spirit is telling you it was all going to be all right just because of those 5 little chicks. And honestly, I know it sounds a little cliche, but glass half empty and glass half full, life is a lot of how you perceive it. So if you perceive doom and gloom, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to see because that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
If you perceive the beautiful generosity of humanity, then that is what you're going to find. That's what you're going to see, and that's what you're going to be exposed to. So it is about, in part, about how you perceive the world. That's what you'll find in the world. And I have found that to be true on almost every level of life.
Hi, Two Feathers. Another
No,
one
we're not
right.
from Cincy. We're up in Amish country. Well, actually, how far? Okay. See, I told you I was having problems reading.
I love Amish bread. Oh, yum. I have the best Amish bread recipe. It's to die for.
Go ahead. I have the best Amish bread recipe too. It's an oatmeal bread, a country oatmeal.
We're gonna have to share. I have an Amish sweet bread and an Amish sandwich bread.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Oh yeah. Yeah, you know, the Amish, surprisingly, everybody thinks that they're all super healthy and stuff. The Amish have a mega sweet tooth, man. They put sugar in everything. Everything. Oh, right. Thank you guys.
But they are healthy.
Yeah. For the most part. When you buy Amish, the smaller the store, the chances are the better the product. Because the rest of them are buying all their food stuff from like the big restaurant people and just using what they have instead of Love Pugs. We're not that far from you. Yeah, we're like an hour from you.
Just under an hour, yeah.
Are you coming to the barbecue? I don't remember everybody that's coming.
Yeah, we got to go and
still haven't found $1 million. Monty, you're so funny. That's why I'm gonna call you Carlo the rest of the day.
Ooh, that does sound good.
Well,
my mom has one from Canada or California. It's a sourdough recipe that she has. She always called it Herbie, but it's the pass along.
Oh yeah,
there's that Amish sourdough. We're gonna include Betty in the bread swap.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Look, this guy. Look, I was in love with him already, but he had me at sausage, gravy, and biscuits.
Oh, yum. That's something I missed from my driving days at school. And I missed the waffle.
I was just like, oh, I'm yours.
I missed the Waffle House, too.
Yes, Love Pug. Holmes County, Ohio. We're just... if you're from Canton, then you know 241. You come straight down 241 just outside of Dalton, right off of 30. You're right into Millersburg, Holmes County.
We're like not quite an hour from you, Love Pug.
Beautiful scenery all the way down.
Northern Kentucky. Heck yeah. I love Southern folk.
That's something else I want to get when we get up north is a freeze dryer. Oh, there's so many possibilities of how we can help people with the stuff we grow.
But I think they're so worth it.
Yeah, it's worth the money.
Oh, they so pay for themselves.
Yeah.
Well, I dehydrate. That's my second. That's actually my favorite go-to at this point because I don't have a freeze dryer. But if I could freeze dry, man, I'd freeze dry everything. But I'll dehydrate. Are you guys interested in like maybe some dehydrated meals that you could put together and then just add hot water and eat it on the trail or whatever? Because you know those MREs and those instant meals and stuff that everybody's paying all this money for, a lot of that stuff you can make on your own. You know, and you can make
Yep.
it in a bag or a mason jar or whatever. Keep it in the pantry, and on those nights when
Yep.
you don't feel like cooking but you need good food, add some boiling hot water and let it set for a few minutes, and you're good. You know, I love that
Yep.
kind of stuff.
And you can can stew right in the jar, ready to eat.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't
You can
last as
can.
long as like with meat in it as it does without, but
And
it's still, man, you can do. There's so many things, right?
I vacuum seal, I flash freeze, I can. I recently got an air fryer that has a dehydrator setting on it.
Ooh,
And when we get up north, I want a freeze right, harvest right freeze dryer. Oh, I have so many things I can do with that. You can make omelets in the jar that'll last, like, you can mix it up. You can dehydrate the eggs, they'll last for 25 years.
yep, yep,
Then you can take them and you can put 2 tablespoons of egg to 2 tablespoons of water and reconstitute them in that jar, and they will be exactly like they were before you dehydrated them. Like
yep,
slime and everything. Identical. So you
yeah,
throw 2 tablespoons of that in, and you throw in a tablespoon of dehydrated vegetables, and you throw in some dehydrated onions and salt and pepper, and then you seal the jar, throw it in your backpack, go on your hike, get to some place where you can heat some water, add the water in, and you have instant omelet ready to pour in your pan.
yep, yep. I saw my daughter really loves the Outdoor Boys. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's a dad, and he takes his kids on these like survival camping trips and things, and he does all kinds of just fantastic things with those boys. And my daughter loves watching them. And he did this one where they'd gone to Alaska, and they dug a hole in the real deep snow and had their little shelter. And he had brought dried pancake mix, right, and a package of hot dogs, and he made corn dogs for him right there at the fire.
That was pretty
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah, she just loved it. She was like, "Mom, can we do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we can do that."
Absolutely.
Yeah. Corn dogs are awesome.
Then we of course loves our breakfasts. The only time we cook and bake in Greece.
Oh, breakfast is the best meal of the day. I can eat breakfast anytime. I love breakfast.
Yeah, we eat it for dinner too.
Yeah.
We'll have breakfast and have breakfast for dinner.
So we live, of course, you guys know we live in Amish country. Well, what that means is every 2 feet driving down the road, there's a sign saying fresh butt nuggets. Now, that's not what they say. That's just how I call it. So you can buy eggs anywhere and everywhere. And a lot of times, if they get too many, they'll give you like a couple dozen for the price of one. And they'll be like, "Well, how many eggs can you take?" And I'll be like, "Oh, 4 dozen. I'll be back next week." And they act like, "What are you making with?" Well, look, I'll turn around and make quiche, and I'll make all kinds of stuff with eggs.
Yeah,
man, eggs are
2 eggs a piece to begin with, and within 3 days you already got a dozen gone.
We'll have breakfast for dinner. We'll have all kinds of stuff.
Do you want to know what we did? Do you want to know what I had the kids do? And I instructed them how to do this from bed 2 weeks ago. I sent them up the road to the other town, and they got 14 dozen eggs. Okay. And they were looking at me strange. And then I told them to mix up the first 8 dozen They mixed them up. They got them all done. I said, okay, now scramble them in the different pans. Got them all scrambled. I put the other one working on bacon, one working on sliced cheeses, and then get out the 6 bags of bagels and lay them all out and put the cheese and the bacon and the egg and a little bit of potato and slap it together and wrap it in what do you call it? Wax paper, parchment paper, and then
Yeah,
put them
parchment
all back.
paper. Yeah.
Yeah, put them all back in the bags and throw them in the freezer. And there was
There you go.
36 breakfast bagels, and they were like, "Wow!" But we still have egg left over. I said, "But there's defrosted sausage in the fridge too." And they went, "Okay." I said, "So cook up that sausage, and then when it's all cooked, ground it into like, ground hamburger. Break it all up." I said, "Get the rest of those eggs stirred up." What? And I said, and then take those 2 trays of potatoes that we did yesterday and stick them in the oven and roast them while that's
Yeah, there you
cooking.
go.
So they get it all out. They said, everything's cooked. Now, what do? I said, go into the fridge and there's 7 bags of tortilla wraps in there. I said, get them out. And I said, you're going to put a layer of egg and a layer of sausage and some potatoes, sprinkle some cheese, roll it into a burrito, wrap it up in paper, and then wrap it in foil.
There you go. See,
We got 60 breakfast burritos out of that batch.
See.
Then
It only
they
takes
took
a
the
little bit. It
last.
might take a little bit of time, but boy, does it save a lot of money,
But when you're feeding 5 or 6 teenagers that
Yep.
are pretty, like I have 3 here, preteen, but their friends are always here. And so when 5 of them need to eat 1 or 2 things at a time, it goes really fast.
There goes 20 of them, right?
So they go in now, they can pull out a Ziploc that has 12 burritos in it, throw it in the fridge, let it defrost. Well, what are we going to do with these last 4 dozen eggs? I said, you're going to mix them up. All good. You're going to put in salt and pepper, and then you're going to put in 2 tablespoons of cinnamon and a teaspoon of vanilla, and you're going to mix it all up really good, and you're going to get the grill down, and you're going to make French toast. Oh, I like French toast, they said. I went, yeah, I know you do, but you're not going to eat this. You're going to bag it. So they got 6 bags with 16 pieces of French toast in the freezer. I said, now you can go when you have your friends here and you can get a bag of burritos, a couple bags of bagels, and a bag of French toast and put them all in the fridge to defrost. And you guys should be good for a couple days.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And they're like, I never knew you could. I said, see, if you think, don't just think about using stuff for one meal. Think about if you buy the little bit extra bulk, how many meals you can make out of that and freeze. I said, that's the way I think. So when you guys are going into the fridge, don't just start grabbing stuff because I might have plans for it.
Very
Right.
true. Yeah, I remember
Yep.
those days. I remember
I-
those days.
I bought it with this
Oh,
in
Betty's
mind.
boiling down dark cherries.
Oh no.
Oh, just can that juice and send it my way. We'll make cough syrup for the wintertime.
Ooh, dark cherries, yum.
I love dark cherries.
Yes.
Oh.
Very true, Chuck. Very
And
true.
watermelon. I love watermelon. I can't eat
You
cucumber
can
though.
do a lot with a watermelon. We found out you can do a whole heck of a lot with watermelon. But that's a whole other show.
But you know how you were talking about that French toast mix? You got to mix up the eggs, the cinnamon, the vanilla, all in.
Cook 'em up.
Yeah.
You could lay that out like fruit leather and dehydrate that.
Yep.
And
I
grind,
know.
you
I seen that. I seen that with the freeze dryer. They freeze dry it all out and then they put it in the processor till it's powder, and then they powder
You
it
can-
and put it in Mylar bags.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can do that with you can do it with a dehydrator too.
And since you have just
And then
cinnamon, well, you can probably use the
pound
vanilla
it.
too, but
Yeah, you
vanilla,
could use the
yeah.
vanilla too.
Yeah, and heat
And
up your mixture that way. Just have a French toast mixture.
I'm gonna have to get you to tell me about dehydrating because I haven't done that before, but I'm looking forward to it.
Dehydrating's it's fun, it's easy, and
Just time consuming.
it's really
Not in a bad way. It's
not any more time consuming than canning.
just you getting everything ready, and then after that, it's
Honestly.
the machine does the rest.
See, I love canning. I love making the chili, the salt. Some people call it salsa. I call it chili.
Okay.
It's the tomato, the peppers, the onions all boiled up.
Right.
Yeah. I make
Oh.
that and I use it in soups and stews, and so I love canning that stuff. I'll do my great big 20 or 30 quart pot. I'll do that 5 or 6 times full of chili. And then we start with the tomatoes, and we make tomato juice, and we make pasta sauce, and we make tomato paste, and then we do beets. I love pickled beets. I could sit and
I
eat
love
those.
fresh beets. I don't like pickled beets. I like them fresh though.
Well,
and I like them like if they've been frozen, but I can't eat them from a can, and I don't like them from. I don't know why, but I don't like them pickled. But I love them fresh.
I can't stand them pickled from a food processor, like from the store. I can't eat those.
Right.
Those are like wicked gross. But homemade ones, as long as they don't have the extra, some people put like extra peppers and garlics in it, and that's what throws me off. I just make the simple brine, and it's not really sharp, so it's a really mild brine, and I could sit and eat those. I could eat a whole jar of them just like candy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another way to preserve your eggs too, is if you pickle your eggs with your beets. I know a lot of people around here love that.
And see, I've never done pickled eggs before.
Ooh.
Really, they're really easy. You pickle your beets and then you just throw them in the jar, like you hard boil them and you throw them in the jar. What's going on now?
I hear they help make things come out better too.
I've heard that. I have heard that. I don't really care for them myself, but my husband loves them. My daughter loves them. I think it's just that they're purple eggs. She really digs that. But yeah, man, beets. I love. And do you eat your greens as well? Your beet greens, because they are really really high in nutrients.
I've heard that, but I don't. I've never.
Down like
I never knew how to cook them or how to. So I said to the kids, the next time we have some of the tops, I want to try mixing it in with my Caesar salad.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. And the other thing, you can cook them up like spinach if you like cooked spinach. I like raw spinach, but I don't care for cooked spinach. But
I like both.
Having said that, I like Swiss chard, mustard greens, turnip tops, the turnip greens.
Do you know that Mike would probably be dying right now in this conversation?
I know, right? We're making all of that hungry too. I'm getting ready to go eat something because I'm getting starving.
We're gonna have to land this little platform.
Land the plane.
Yeah, as Mike says.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for coming on. We absolutely love you, lady, and you're always welcome. All you guys are welcome here. You all have a voice, and like I said, we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
I like the food conversation.
If it's something I don't want to talk about, you'll know about it because I'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing pretty good with the food conversations lately.
This is true. This is very true.
Well, Mike's talking about starting a cooking show on Saturdays.
I know.
We should all get in on that.
I contacted the dollar store. I'm on for Friday with helium.
Right on. All right.
It's gonna be a fun Friday.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and play. Artist and Poet did another outro for us. We're gonna use it as our outro. YouTube is already messing with us, talking about they're gonna dinging us for copyright stuff. Even though I'm pretty sure none of it's, yeah, that's it. None of it's copyright stuff. And I know I've got my licenses for the music I used in mine. So
Yeah.
I'm going to let you guys enjoy this and finish out chat and finish up your conversation because I know what that's like.
And I'm going to step out off the panel and into chat.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
we love you all.
Thank you for
light and love. And we will see you all tomorrow.
Yes, we
And
will.
please, please, if you guys need something or a shoulder or an ear,
Email
reach
us.
out. Okay, reach out. We're here. We're here to help.
So.
Okay, in any way we can. So we love you. And on that note, artist and poet, lovely creation for us.